Well, there he is, George Washington, the iconic figure of our $1 bills. We'll get to this $1 bill a little bit later. Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles and I've already gone through them. I'll check out what I found shortly. But before we get started with that, we're going to go into this week's tip. This week's tip, don't forget to check out your local Goodwill or Salvation Army or even garage sales for that matter. There's a garage, well, not a garage, there's a Goodwill right by my house, and I checked it out, and I found this Liberty Walking half dollar frame, and it's got all the dates on there, of course. It's all, it's hard plastic. It's a really neat display, and I got it for just a couple dollars. So don't forget to check out things like that. You'd be amazed at what you can find at some of these thrift stores. Other people aren't aware of what to do with, former family members' collections, and sometimes you get to find interesting things that you may find useful. So that's this week's tip. Don't forget to check out thrift stores and stuff. All right, got my $1,000 in singles. Already went through those. Let's take a peek at what I found. I do have some interesting stuff. Starting, of course, with a Where's George. Love finding Where's George. This one was done in blue ink. I haven't seen one in blue or purple ink in a while, so this is probably a new one for me. I will be sure to check that one out, log it in. This one here is a trinary, ones, sixes, and sevens. Real close to being a repeater or real close to being an alternator. Not quite, but still a trinary nonetheless. Found another trinary. This is ones, fours, and fives. Not in the best of shape, so I'll probably send that one along. And then this trinary is twos, eights, and nines, but you'll also notice that in the center there, it's got 4 nines in a row. So it is a block of nines, a 4 block anyway. Not as valuable as some of the other blocks that you'll find, but 4 blocks, at least it's something to hunt for. That way you have definitely found something. This one here, also a block of 4. This one has 4 zeros in it, and so close to being a radar bill. 12, 4 zeros, and then 82, but still quads nonetheless, quad zeros. This one is quad 4s. You can see the 4 4s right in the middle, and it starts with a 4 as well, so 5 on that particular bill, but still quads. I like the blocks like that. And this is another one, quad 9s. Right there in the center, quad 9s, ending in a 9 as well. Quad 8s, also ending in an 8. 4 8s in the middle, and 1 there gives us a total of 5. So I found a few of them that were like that. I found a number of star notes in this week's batch as well. Not all of them were in the greatest of shape, but I will still go through just to see what there is to see. I was amazed at the number of star notes I found compared to the number of trinaries. Normally I find a lot more trinaries compared to my stars. And actually in this group of 1,000, I think I had three of my straps here that actually had nothing for me to pull out of. I can only imagine how hard it would be if somebody had saved up the $100 to get a strap of singles and then found those 3 straps and got nothing. Here's one that starts off with a couple zeros, so that's got potential. This one's not in the greatest of shape. Hopefully it's not worth a lot. This one, dog-eared, hard crease. A couple other star notes here. So like I said, compared to the number of trinaries, found quite a bit of star notes. I was pleased with that, and I will be going through all of my stars to see which ones are rare, and I'll be showing you the results fairly soon. Did find some older bills, lots of bills from 1999. That was the bulk of the ones that I had found this time as far as older notes. Lots of 99s. This one isn't in very good shape, so it's probably going to go back. But some of them are much better than others. This one is nice and bright. Probably a replacement bill for me in my collection. Not so good here. All these still 1999s. So I found a lot of them from 99. Then we move a little further back. This one was 1995. Really rough shape. I can't seem to get that center fold out of there. And it's got a tear in it. It's not a web note, and there's nothing special about the serial number, so that one will be going back in circulation. But it was a find. That's why I pulled it. This one's a little bit older, 1993. And then we go to 1988. This one also has a tear in the middle, not in the greatest of shape. So probably it'll be going back into circulation. And then this was the heartbreaker. check that out. A 1963, not a 63A, B, C, or any of the other series. The original 1963 series $1 bill. Shows a little bit of wear, a little bit of dirt, and somebody wrote, "Is that I Heart You" on there in a permanent marker. Just a crushing way to find a bill. It is so rare to find a 1963 as it is, and then to see somebody that wrote on this one, it's pretty heartbreaking. Heartbreaking on an I Heart You bill. All right, so that was that, and then, as you can see, I've got something in a holder, so you know I found something neat. I'm going to put this one down. This was one of the coolest finds I've had in a while. This is a 2013. It is from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and check out that serial number. It starts off 1-1, then it has a 7, and then it has 5 more 1s. Found this in circulation 7 out of 8 as far as a solid goes. I can't even tell you how rare something like this is. If you fill in any number, 1 through 9, and want 7 out of 8 numbers, and then you fill in the other 9 possibilities there, you're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 720 notes like this for every 100 million printed. So this is just an extremely rare number. I don't even know where to begin to price this. I know if it was a full solid, if that 7 was a 1, it could be worth about $1,000. This particular bill in this particular shape, it is heavily, well, I don't want to say heavily circulated, but it is circulated. But I'd still say that this bill would command an interesting price on eBay. Who knows? Maybe triple digits. That would be a really neat find if I was to get $100 for this bill. But I am not putting this up for sale. I'm keeping this because I've only got one other bill like this in my whole collection, and that one happens to be a 20 if I remember right. So that was my cool find that I found in circulation this week. So what did I bring out as far as my safety deposit box? Well, I showed you the first part of it, which was it is a $1 bill. George Washington, $1 bill, so you know it's definitely a $1 bill. I know I've shown various bills where he's not, but this one is a $1 bill. This is a $1 bill from the series of 1917. It's a 1917 legal tender bill. You can see right over here where it says series 1917 on it. And what you'll notice, what's most prominent about this bill is that it's kind of a throwback, actually. This is a design that was in use, I believe, since 1878 or so. It's an older design for the face compared to what more modern bills look like. There's obviously the modern equivalent, like I have to show you what a $1 bill looks like. But what made this bill interesting to me is, well, the little bit of history I'm able to decipher from this particular bill. One of the things you'll notice is you have to zoom in really tight to see the seal on this bill. That seal is almost completely faded away. The numbers also are extremely faded. The holder that this thing came in was also stained yellow. So that made me think, well, how was this bill ever preserved? When I turn the bill over, you can see that the back is very vibrant in the colors. The greens are very, very dark. You can see right there, series of 1917 on the $1 bill. And if you look at the detail on all of this is extremely dark. And right in the center there, it looks like a tape mark. And that's when I realized what this was. Here, I'll put this up here just so you can read that. If you want to pause it, you can. There's the full inscription telling about counterfeiting and a $5,000 fine or 15 years imprisonment. But I'll let you guys read that at your own leisure. What I discovered about this particular bill is that this bill, you can see a tape mark there. So obviously this bill was in somebody's collection, so you would think. But what is most likely to be is that this was probably the first dollar a particular store had earned. It's always been a habit to place your first dollar to tape it up on the wall. And the reason I say that is because, well, first and foremost, there's a tape mark on the back. But secondly, if this note was taped up for many, many years with this side facing out, direct sunlight would bleach all of the reds out of here, which is exactly what happened. So this note had extreme sun exposure for numerous years, and the back, like I said, the color on the back is vibrant, so you know the backside hasn't seen the light of day in a long time. All we have to go by is that little mark there. So that mark in the center tells me that this was a bill that was taped in a storefront, obviously exposed to the window and exposed to UV rays, bleaching that out. So what is something like this worth? Well, we'll hop in the book real quick, take a quick peek. That's what the bill looked like in its original state. You'll notice the red scalloping around the word 1. They got rid of that in the later editions, and they also got rid of the gray scalloping around the serial numbers. This bill actually, let me move this out of the way. If I was to look down here, it was number 38. There's 38 right there. Elliott and White Small Red Scallop starts out at about $80 and goes all the way up to $600 if it was perfect. But $80, that's in VG8. You know, that could be around the price of that bill. I wouldn't be surprised. I got it for significantly less than that. Just another cool addition to my collection. Something like this is a neat way to add bills to your collection. This bill isn't worth a fortune. It's a neat looking bill, and because this particular bill is sun bleached, does have that little mark on the back, to me this bill is a lot more interesting than a standard bill. These bills aren't that hard to find in good shape, but this bill spoke to me because of the story I was able to decipher. All right, guys, that's what I've got for you this week. If you learned something new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. I love reading your comments. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys next week.